Hello, Minecrafters and Redstoners. I'm Natanis Likens, and today we are in a creative world. And if you couldn't guess from my hotbar, we are in 1.20. There's a few things I want to talk about with 1.20. First off, am I going to be upgrading my Let's Play world to 1.20 for that series? Uh, we're going to answer that and talk about why exactly I am not going to be updating to 1.20. And I figured, we'd do a little bit of setup, show you some of the new features in 1.20 that I'm sure bigger Minecrafter YouTubers out there have already shown you. So yeah, let's dive into it. First thing you can see on my hotbar is I do have a sniffer egg there, and the sniffer, get to the right camera angle, we got a sniffer right here. Um, I'm kind of indifferent about the sniffer. I know on Twitter and a few other places here on YouTube, I was telling people alongside several others to vote for the sniffer. However, I think we've been kind of manipulated into it, but we're not going to get into my conspiracy theory there. But the sniffer really, other than adding a new mob, it doesn't really add anything. It's kind of sort of another useless mob. It can find ancient seeds, which add a whopping 2 new plants. I mean, come on, Mojang. If you're going to add that mechanic, give it more than 2. So the sniffer, yeah, is kind of whoop-de-doo to me. The egg looks really cool, though. I've already placed one of these down. I've been messing around with stuff here in 1.20. And yeah, for what it's supposed to be, like a rare mob that is supposedly extinct and hard to come about. I've been watching a bunch of different YouTubers, and it doesn't seem that rare, Mojang. Like, tons of people out there are getting multiple of these just by going to a warm ocean and finding water destroyed cities. I don't know the proper name for that. So I don't think they're that rare. They aren't that special. It is a really cool looking mob. I will give props to that. It is really cool looking, but it's yet another mob that really doesn't serve any kind of purpose. Um, and to me, that's just kind of pointless. We do have the flowers over there, but we'll get to that in a second. One of the other new things is armor trims. These guys. You can see I've got all of them displayed, I believe. And even when they announced this, I was like, whoop-de-doo. Um, I don't like the idea of the armor trims. I really don't. It's a rare item that you have a very small chance of getting inside of chests, which it is supposed to encourage exploration, um, and also it also encourages going mining a lot more because in order to duplicate these, you need diamonds. So you don't have to constantly go out and find these, but once you have them, there's no real reason to go out and explore. So now you're just back to sitting in your base. I don't really see the point of these other than making your armor distinct and whatever style you want. You can see I've got one going right there that is the, I did not name this. I didn't grab it either. The ribbed. I think it was the rib that I used for that. Yeah, I think it was ribbed. Let's see here. I can probably, yeah, ribbed. Use ribbed on this diamond set with redstone in order to give it a red color so you can kind of see it. But all in all, I don't really feel like this is a necessary addition to the game. I feel like this is probably the most ridiculous thing they've added. To be perfectly honest, I don't see the need for this. The only the only way I see this as something that is like cool and you should have is if you're on like a PvP world and this is a very easy way to show what team you're on by having your armor trim be the same color on a team. So if you got like diamond armor with red trim or diamond armor with gold trim or diamond armor with green trim, whatever it is, that's probably the only real use I see of this. Other than that, I mean, we're dealing with really small pixels, so these trims don't seem that special to me. The other reason I don't like it is because they added this guy down here. This is the upgrade item, and you use this in conjunction with a netherite ingot with your diamond armor in order to make netherite. That seems a little more convoluted and way more time consuming to get netherite armor than it was previously. I don't like the idea of having this on top of already getting the netherite. It just seems like they're trying too hard to make things a little bit more difficult to get. Like they've figured the netherite is too hard to get, and they're gonna like increase the difficulty of getting it. This again, just it doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. We've had just a straight up netherite ingot, diamond armor. Now you got netherite for such a long time. I don't see why they need to change that. So I don't really. The trims in this upgrade thing is just like, get rid of it. That's just kind of garbage to me. Up next, we got the two plants that I talked about with the sniffers. So these come from ancient seeds. There are two different types of seeds that you can get, and I do not remember the name of either one of them. Just know that there are two different seeds that you can get, and this is what they look like. Now, the fire torch flower is used for making suspicious stew, and then the pitch pod, I don't want the pitch pod. The pitch flower, can I even, no, I need a crafting table. So this is a new way to get cyan dye, which is nice. We finally have a way to get cyan dye without actually making cyan dye. You need green and blue dye in order to make it, so this flower adds one of the missing dyes so that we can actually just harvest it a different way. But again, it's not really that important in my opinion. It is something that I'm glad they added. We did need a way to get cyan dye other than just combining dyes to get it. So I do like that addition. However, in order to get that, you got to go through the trouble of finding a sniffer, which again is not as difficult as it seems. Like I've said, a whole bunch of Minecraft YouTubers out there have gotten multiple of these. I'm going to say fairly quickly. It's hard to tell how much time they spent looking for it in their videos, but considering how many of them they have gotten between all the different groups, I mean, it doesn't seem that difficult to get. So it's kind of a new words are difficult. It's kind of pointless, in my opinion, to go off searching for those because they're so easy to get. Um, and getting this flower, so it doesn't seem like it's all that special or rare. If it was a little bit rarer, something that is like an achievement for getting, which it is, uh, but I'm talking like an actual achievement, like something difficult to get, not something that's just handed to you. It'd be more interesting. Like some of these armor trims are a little bit rarer and you'd have to spend a lot of time looking for it. I believe one of them, I think it's the silence trim. There was one YouTuber who went, I think he said something like 8 hours searching before he finally found one. And on top of that, he didn't find just one, he found two within seconds of each other. So yeah, that goes right into one of the things that I have a problem with the idea of exploration and Minecraft. Like the rewards, their loot tables for certain rewards in certain places are just kind of pointless or so rare that it's like, why? Or is just kind of like whoop-de-doo, like raiding in cities for their treasures inside inside the chests. Like the treasures aren't special enough to warrant wanting to look for that. Now I know some YouTubers, they go off and they do that, and that's their content. Well, that's their prerogative. For me, it's the loot is never special enough. Just get some villagers and like get some trading going. It's a lot quicker, and you can get things that you actually want instead of finding things like, oh, this is a decent pickaxe, but it has Curse of Vanishing. So if I lose it, it's gone forever. Um, yeah, the loot tables and everything, they really need to be increased. They really need to be changed around. If these armor trims added some kind of special bonus, I'd be more incentivized to go up to 1.20. Right now, I'm not. Now, next up, we have the new cherry blossom trees and their woods. Now, I will admit, these things are absolutely amazing looking. I love this. I love cherry trees. This is just downright amazing, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not wanting to update because I would love to have some of these in and around my city, which is the problem. We are building a steampunk styled city. A pink tree inside of a Victorian designed city just doesn't set well with me. I feel like steampunk should be a little bit dirtier, a little bit more muted colors, not this bright, vibrant color of the cherry trees. So I don't really see a need to go get these right now. Maybe in the future, in a future update, when they've added something that I'm just like, ooh, I want that. I need to go, to the next one. Maybe we'll update and play around with these at that point. As far as their new wood variants, it's pink. Okay, I need to put a disclaimer here. So I did tell Mojang a while back that they need to add things like this. Um, More pastel colors, more pink colors. This was not for me. It's not something I want. This is something I feel like some of the female content creators will really enjoy. Bring some variation in their builds too, because a lot of them tend to use some pinks here and there. And I thought, well, maybe they could have the new wood type that is pink, and potentially they can use that. That is specifically for our female counterparts in the Minecraft community, not just the content creating community, but the community as whole. But for me, yeah, I'm not touching that. And after that wood, we've got the new bamboo. Okay, again, I'm building a steampunk themed city. I don't really see a need for this bamboo block. For me personally, for my city and my purposes, I don't have a need for this block. Maybe in the future, far into the future, there'll be like something I might be kicking myself going, ooh, I wish I had the bamboo for whatever reason. As of right now, yeah, I don't need this. I don't really care about it. It is cool. It is really nice, but it's not something that I foresee myself building with right now. Which just goes back into the point of I'm not going to update to 1.20 for my ongoing series. The couple of things that I am kicking myself over is the new signs. I absolutely love these signs. These signs are amazing. I wish I had put a few more colors here, but I was just kind of messing around with them, seeing what I could actually do. I do wish two things here. This chain right here, it doesn't actually properly connect to the sign, and not to mention the color of the chain on the sign and the color of the actual chain is too different. Like the chain is very light for the actual chain item, but the chain on the sign itself is very dark. So these two don't really mix that well, not to mention they don't look like they're connected. Like, why? Why didn't you make this look like it's connected? That is kind of a missed opportunity to me. So again, while I am missing, and the signs would be wonderful in a steampunk city, again, it's not enough for me to want to update to 1.20. Up next, we got the chiseled bookshelf. Um, I'm I really want these. One of my dreams in Minecraft is to actually build a full-on library. Um, we are going to be building one eventually in my ongoing series. It's just not going to happen right now. we got a long way to go before we get to that. It is something that I could start. However, my creative build is not finished. I have not finalized exactly what I want it to look like, and I've kind of put it on the back burner. I tend to do that while like in the back of my mind, I process what I could change, what's something different I could attempt, or have I seen something that would inspire me to change this or that? So the library is a constant work in progress, and it has been for many, many years. It's always been something that I've wanted to do, and I'm constantly tweaking it and coming up with new ideas, or maybe I scrap the old idea and I start all over. Eventually, I need to stop doing that and just build one. So yeah, there's that. Now, next up, we got the actual words. Words are difficult. The archaeology stuff. So the random buried builds that you can find, those are just not special enough to me. And after seeing countless people talking about the updates as they were coming, like the snapshots and the loot tables that are in them, it's kind of like whoop-de-doo to me. Again, the loot tables in Minecraft and the possibility of what you can find really needs to be tweaked, like insanely tweaked. Like it needs to be worth it. And right now, I don't feel like it's worth it. And the possible answer that I've heard going around the Minecraft community with how to make that loot actually viable is by changing villagers. No, don't do that. The loot tables in the various places that you can go and find are absolute garbage. And if you decrease what you can possibly get from the villagers or change their mechanics, then it just becomes this awkward balance of which is the worst, or which is the easier of the two worst possible paths that you could take. Right now, with the way villagers work, I think it's fine. It doesn't need to change. But the loot tables on these type of things, I am not impressed with. In fact, we got some suspicious sand here and suspicious gravel over there. I have not done this before. Let's just see what we can get, and I'll explain, or it'll show you why I'm not really impressed with this. Okay, we didn't even... it may not work with me just placing it. Yeah, okay. It's not going to work. We'd have to go into an actual 120 world. Yeah, so I can't even really show you the stuff there. From what I understand, the brush can be enchanted too. I don't know what you can actually enchant it with. I would assume something like unbreaking, and you know what? I wonder. No, it's still not giving us anything. But you can see that the brush does take durability damage over time using it. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but considering pretty much every tool out there in the game does have durability loss upon use, I'm fine with that. Doesn't bother me. But again, the loot tables for this, just I really don't care about. Even the pottery shards. The pottery item itself, again, it's something that is kind of a whoop-de-doo. Like the pottery doesn't seem special enough to me for me to update and actually use it. The other thing that was added is camels. Yep, camels. Okay, okay. Mojang, why do you keep adding mobs that really don't... I don't care about the camel, especially considering that as of right now, as of this video, I am a solo player. I'm not playing on any server. I have not been invited to any server to play. We're pretty much an unknown in the Minecraft YouTube community. I do see that I'm getting a lot of views. Most of you are not subscribed, So if you'll do me a favor and hit that subscribe button when this video is over, I'd be much appreciated. But the camel, like the only really cool thing about the camel is two-player riding. Two-player riding. I'm a solo player. I don't care about that ability. Um, as far as the animal itself, it is nice that they are adding more creatures to the game for ambience, but the camel just doesn't mean anything to me. It's kind of like the rabbits. The rabbits, nice little ambience addition, but I just whoop-de-doo. Um, Especially considering what they drop and everything. Like the leather, like leather at this point is one of those things that either you have too much of or you don't have enough of. And if you've got like not enough leather, like how long have you been playing? Because I've been collecting leather just by doing nothing. So I have tons of leather and no real use for it. So yeah, and that's like implying that I'm saying that the only use for a camel is to kill it to get leather. That's not what I'm saying. No, no, don't misunderstand me there. I have seen several YouTubers making zoos, and a camel, being an animal, is one of the ones that they put in their zoo. I'm perfectly fine with that. But outside of making a zoo, this thing serves no purpose. I mean, it is another early game mount, but the problem I have with mounts is that requires a saddle, and if you haven't found a saddle, you can't get a mount. Really, the only way I could see around that is if they finally make it to where we can craft saddles. That would be huge, and in fact, it would be a way to use up all the leather. However, in my Let's Play world, saddles is another thing that I have way too many of and no use for. I have gotten so many saddles the last like year, 2 years. How long has that world been around? I don't know, but I have tons of saddles, no use for them. They're just sitting in a box in my storage system. But yeah, that is my 2 cents on the 1.20 update. We did skip over the redstone stuff, such as the calibrated skulk sensor. Yeah, the calibrated skulk sensor, which is a redstoner's component. I wanted to say dream component, but I don't know if that's a dream component. Yeah, if you've seen my redstone stuff, you know that I am not a huge redstoner. I know how to do certain things and I can make certain little things, but this thing, being that it uses sound and can pass a specific signal, honestly, for me, I don't see a use for it. There are other Minecraft redstoners out there that have found uses for this, but they're so specific that I don't feel like messing around with it. Same goes with this jute. No, note. And then we need a button. I should have done this earlier. I didn't think about this. I thought I would just talk about these and not really do anything else. But this, okay, really good for pranking other players. But again, I'm a solo player, so I don't really have a need for being able to make the creature sounds via a note block and their head. And I am aware that they did update the more mob heads pack over on Vanilla Tweaks. Um, if you know anything about my series and some of the mods that I have a whole ton of different heads. I really don't feel like going through the process of updating all of those for 1.20, especially if I don't see any real need in updating to 1.20. So yeah, that is my reasoning for not wanting to update. This is not supposed to be like here's 120 features, this is what it's all about. No, this is explaining why I'm not going to be updating to 1.20 anytime soon. It's just, it doesn't have enough in it for me to be like, ooh, yeah, we need to go do that. The caves and cliffs, um, honestly, that didn't have a whole lot. However, the ore veins for finding a lot of copper was a big selling point to me. I really wanted that. And then I saw the potential with the swift sneak and building. It would just allow for faster building because you're building something tall, you're probably sneaking, and if you've got any time, okay, because there's a calibrated sensor behind us. Um, yeah, so sneaking and building is probably something that goes hand in hand, and the swift sneak allows you to move a little bit faster. So I really wanted that for being able to build all my buildings a little bit quicker. I know progress on that has been a little bit slow, but that's mostly because, you know, as a new builder, it's hard to, come up with ideas on what I should build. I've been looking around at other people's stuff and getting a feel for it, but I don't want to straight up copy somebody's building. I want to make it myself, put my own little accents on it. Um, the Poca Center is kind of a little bit different. That's just something I like to build in every single world for some reason. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I hope you guys look forward to when I actually start filming season 2 of Through the Rift. I do have a lot of work left to do in the creative world where all these story elements take place. The stage for season, ooh, excuse me, the stage for season 2 is a work in progress. I've got a majority of it done. Now I need to go through and do some of the detail work on it, and it's going to be much, much bigger than the previous one. The previous one was just a ship sitting in the void of the end with a few what I called uh, tears in space time and time itself in reality, and then a much larger uh, rift. Season 2 is a much bigger thing, and in fact, even at max render distance, you can't see the whole thing. Yeah, so it's taking a little bit of time to get that to the finished stages, and really I hope when I actually start recording that you guys are gonna really enjoy that. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because, like I said, a whole bunch of you watching my videos out there aren't subscribed. I mean, we're getting 400 to 500 views on some episodes, and some we're not even approaching 100, and we've only got like 32 subs. So please subscribe if you really are enjoying everything. And if you really enjoyed this stuff, please leave a like. And I will see you guys hopefully in episode 1 of Through the Rift Season 2. Until next time, I'm Natanis Likens, and I'm out.